When the mind is clear, calm and clear, it makes us to go deeper, not just to rushing to do this, but you let go of it. So it's kind of like meditation, but you don't have to be sitting. You can be walking or laying down or doing nothing, watching the clouds in the sky and talking with the leaves of a tree. There's a Japanese word, shizen, which means nature, but two words into one. Shi means on its own, Zen is as it is. So on its own and as it is, that's nature. So when I talk about calm and quiet mind, that is a way to get to the root of who you are, where the law of nature is taking place. If the mind is busy, you don't get there. And when you get there, or even in the process of getting there, you find lots of interesting things to happen. And when you do long time sitting in meditation, like I used to do quite a bit, vipassana for 10 days, you start to know yourself. To the point that in my first vipassana of 10-day course in the year 2000, I didn't do anything but just focus on breathing or paying attention to the inner body sensation for a long time. So you're not doing anything but just simple stuff to know yourself by not doing anything, which is basically to go beyond the realm of mind that I said many occasions that the mind has limitation, but we don't know it until you sit and do nothing. So the day may pass doing A, B, C, D, and busy, and then you watch TV and you want to go to Tahiti and buy a boat, another investment here, or change the girlfriend. Many things you get busy. Maybe at my age 74, it may be helpful, but perhaps also related to the vipassana or awakening experience I had 22 years ago, that I'm very comfortable being alone. Actually, there's no concept of alone. You're just being or melting into the nature. So you're not alone. There's no boundary from me to the bed I'm laying down on now, or that door, or the mirror, or furniture. Everything is a manifestation of the law of nature. In a way, they are alive even though they are dead. Let's say the furniture, the board, the wood is dead. It's like if you see a dead body, you don't call him alive. But from the point of view of how the law of nature manifests, there's no differentiation between life and death. Life and death is just a concept as human to develop when we get kicked out of the Garden of Eden, so that you can play with the mind. And that's a very dangerous game to play, because good and bad, right and wrong, ugly, beautiful, you get busy. You create war, climate change, all that stuff. And everything I can see in news. There's a good intention, perhaps I can say that we want to evolve and pursue something meaningful by using the mind, but purely depending on the surface symptom of the mind, chase A, B, C, prioritize X, Y, Z, or even not doing it, just randomly moving one after the other because news pops up and do this and do that, and you buy this stuff and then you throw away and buy another stuff. What's going on there? So craziness, anxiety, delusionary thought, not going anywhere, painful feeling in psychological manner, or even affecting your physical situation. More people, in a way, need to get into know ourselves better. And the one way of knowing is not to do anything. Meditation is another way to do nothing, but observe your mind. And you're not used to it. So the fact or the process of not doing anything exposes the problem or opportunity to open up, to go deeper. And in my case, it was not so easy, although it was kind of fun at the beginning and get to know and be able to sit. And there are lots of things can happen, but each of those happening is a way of going beyond that, if you could make it. And just briefly, I went into this painful situation, and that was horrible, but that was also exposing the problem. Later, I found that it's called Dharma pain, or Dharma pain, the pain related to not following the law of the universe. So mind is busy, why am I doing it? And you bind yourself with the rope. That's the expression. You're causing the pain on yourself, Dhamma pain. Why am I doing it? I'm painful, I want to get out of it. That's the exposure of the problem. And what have happened, there was a release from that pain, suddenly. I'm not going to go into detail about how it happened, but that's like an awakening experience to break through the barrier, the boundary of the mind to go deeper. And when you go to the deepest level, that you're so comfortable doing nothing, sitting many days, or actually, at my age of 74, I don't know if I could do it at age 18 or 25. I had lots of curiosity to explore the world, but I don't know if that had anything to do with my experience various things in the world, but whatever the case is, and also related to my interest in Zen meditation and years of the exploration in that, I'm at the stage perhaps more so than ever that nothing bothers me, but more enjoying even just looking at the cloud in the sky. I was out watching the leaves, and what was the thought I had? I have to remember now. Yeah, that's the thought that the trees' leaves grow on their own without having a mind, correct? So that is how they're manifesting the way of nature. We are a living being like tree branches, leaves. So we have the same construct that is living in us. We just may not notice in our mind, but all the cells are functioning, and actually, when you become used to this awakening setting, I call it the transparency or resonance to the nature, you basically feel the jiggling or the vibration of the cells, even to the level of the cells, as if they're happy that I can relate to and pay attention to so that they are not forgotten. Maybe some people who grow vegetable or tomato may talk to them so they can relate to each other, or my cats and me can talk to each other. And I'm not sure about the human to human, that's leave it on the side. But those who live together or in Zen temple going through a certain process together like a Sangha. One thing actually I can also talk about the Zen temple is that everything is simple and you start to know what to do. So there's no much question. The life is simple to follow certain disciplines And that is conducive, like in setting. There's not much noise or duty. You just focus on setting. Or some may focus on koan, a puzzle. Very simple. Hear the sound of the one hand clapping, or what is mu, or nothingness. I have a good one. I had my first koan. Ordinarily, mind is the way. How do you find it? If you look for it, you cannot find it. How do you know if you get it? When you get it, it's like a open sky, blue. And that is emptiness. And that's my koan I had the first time with Roshi that I went through. So all of that connect to when I said the Shizen. On its own, by itself, we know how things happen. And we are the one, same being. So there's a saying in Zen, Shitsu Bucho, which means, again in Japanese, everything has the Buddha nature. So they have the law of nature manifesting every situation. So we are one. Wisdom of finding that there is that equality and there's a wondrous nature of manifesting law of nature happening. And without doing or trying to do things happen. That's the third wisdom. And the fourth wisdom is the mirror mind, which means you see your mind as if you are looking yourself in the mirror or the clouds in the sky. Thought moves, but you have the basis to look at the thought. Waves versus ocean is an analogy of that. Mind is a wave, but you have stable core. One of the good expression I like often use it is that when the leaves, shadow of the branches move, dust doesn't move. So there's a awareness of how your mind is functioning compared to not knowing what's happening in your mind but being busy one after the other. So the peace in mind, I have been talking in various videos, is connected to that very basic root of realizing who we are at the core of it. And some may use the word God or Amida Buddha, or I may want to use the law of nature as the way to connect to that source. And we are from there, we are being in the process right now, and that everything is impermanent. We live and die, but from the point of view of the source, it's just a way of nature. And that's the realization and awakening, Satori. And the nirvana, the blissful sense is that we're not chasing anything and peaceful. That's the aim of Zen. That's what Daisetsu Suzuki said somewhere. He also said the aim of Zen is to know the principal way of universe. I thought that was very profound. That's 35, 40 years ago. Yes, mysterious if we are caught up in the mind to dissect what it means. But that's the kind of challenge, especially when I see the world as in turmoil. Maybe nothing different from the past, because for the thousands of years we've been using this mind and having these difficulties and suffering. But it seems like collectively we are, how can I say it, accelerating this craziness and creating more anxiety, worry, that may be seen already in some of the numbers, statistics, or even the violence and murders, suicide. I hope we get to know the nature of who we are. And there's a way, know ourselves, connect to the root. Let's work on it. And hopefully have fun in the process. This is a game, as I said elsewhere, that God has provided us to play with. That God is law of nature, and we are one with it. And if we know we are one, well, let's see what it means. What it's satori or enlightenment, peace in mind, eternal peace. Yet we have mind, so we can still go in and out to get into the delusion, but be able to come back to sanity. And that's the game. We can appreciate living life as it is. Thank you.